Hello and welcome to Agenda 2030. I am Toyin Nkamiang John. The task of attaining the Sustainable Development Goals requires concerted effort by all stakeholders, that's both state and non-state actors. In coordinating the implementation of the SDGs in Nigeria, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs is harmonizing the effort at both the national and sub-national level in a strategic partnership. This was in demonstration recently when President Muhammadu Buhari paid a working visit to Lagos and Borno states to commission some impact projects that will definitely help Nigeria advance in the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals 3, 4, and 9. On this week's episode, we will bring you a comprehensive report of the visit. Stay with us.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the Global Development Agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
As the global leaders continue to scale up activities aimed at accelerating the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals, the need for evidence-based reports on performance have become more important. The reports are on an annual basis generated and presented by selected countries through the National Voluntary Review on SDGs mechanisms in the UN High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development.
As the global leaders continue to scale up activities aimed at accelerating the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals, the need for evidence-based reports on performance have become more important. The reports are on an annual basis generated and presented by selected countries through the National Voluntary Review on SDGs mechanism to the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development. It's against this background that the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs recently embarked on a capacity-building workshop for monitoring and evaluation officers across the ministries, departments, and agencies of government. The training, which was organized in collaboration with the United Nations Children Education Fund, UNICEF, and the Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning, is a preparatory step and seeks to strengthen the process for evidence-based reporting for the National Voluntary Review report that will be presented to the United Nations by the Nigerian government in 2020. The report was recently presented to the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Princess Adejoke Orelokwe Adefulure, by the committee. In receiving the report, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Princess Adejoke Orelokwe Adefulure, stated that the capacity-building workshop was a foundation-laying process for an independent and credible evaluation of priority SDGs in Nigeria. Leader of the team and UNICEF's evaluation manager in Nigeria, Robert Ndamobisi, stated that the report has laid a foundation and independent evaluation of SDGs that will ensure solid evidence-based learning and reporting, which will provide solid analytical answers to the why and how of challenges against key priority SDGs to be addressed within large strategic debate and consensual agreement. As indicated in the report, Nigeria is prioritizing 5 key goals from where 1 or 2 will be selected for review at the UN High-Level Political Forum in New York. The 5 priority SDGs include Goal 1. End poverty and all its forms. Goal 3. Ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Goal 4. Ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Goal 5. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Goal 8. Promote sustained, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all.
Welcome back. Remember, you can always watch this program and other episodes by subscribing to our YouTube channels on youtube.com/FreshNewsTV and youtube.com/Agenda 2030 TV. You can also watch the program live on Facebook. Log on to www.facebook.com/FreshNewsNG and www.facebook.com/Agenda 2030 TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Agenda 2030 TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember to drop your comments and share with your contacts. Do use the hashtag Agenda 2030 and the hashtag Agenda 2030 TV. In pursuant of his commitment to advancing development in the country, President Muhammadu Buhari was in Lagos to commission projects executed by the Akinwumi Ambode-led government.
Waiting to receive the president in Lagos were Governor Ibukunle Amosun of Ogun State, Abiola Ajimabi of Oyo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, and Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State. Others were Governor Jibrila Bindo of Adamawa State, Acting Governor of Edo State Philip Shaibu, Lagos State Governor-elect Babajide Sanwo-Olu, his deputy Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, the Oba of Lagos Rilwan Akiolu, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs Princess Adejoke Orelokpe Adefulire, amongst others. On arrival, the president was ushered in by his host, who conducted him through projects executed.
We'll keep marching hand in hand. We'll leave no one behind. One for all and all for one.
The projects commissioned by the president during the one-day visit were the rehabilitated 10-lane Oshodi Murtala Muhammad International Airport Road, 170-bed Anyike House Maternity Hospital at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Lasuth in Ikeja, Lagos State Theatre at Oregun in Ikeja, new 820 mass transit buses, multi-level Oshodi transport interchange on the Apapa-Oshodi Expressway.
These projects by Lagos State are perfectly aligned with the efforts of the federal government to improve the country's infrastructure, especially in the transport sector. To complement the Oshodi transport interchange, the federal government has recently approved the reconstruction of the Apapa-Oshodi Expressway up to Oranski and Old Toll Gate, which was last attended to 40 years ago.
President Buhari was particularly excited by the newly reconstructed and refurbished Anyike House because of the impact the world-class facility will have in improving maternal and child care in the country.
This is a typical consortium
The Lagos State Governor described the newly reconstructed facility, now known as Institute of Maternal and Child Health Center, located within the premises of Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Lasuth, in Ikeja, as a critical and timely intervention in the health sector.
Today is a landmark day in the health sector of our state. Exactly 29 years ago, Anyike House was commissioned on April 14, 1990. Late Sir Mobolaji Bankantoni on that day donated the first dedicated maternal and child care facility to the state government in memory of his late mother, hence the Christian name Ayinke House.
Governor Ambode said the facility, which is Nigeria's biggest maternity hospital, was upgraded from an 80-bed facility to a 170-bed healthcare center with state-of-the-art medical equipment, 5 surgical theaters, and a 16-bed emergency care unit with 3 organ support facilities, among others.
The 80-bed facility with just 1 surgical theater assumed a life of its own as a first-class childbirth and maternal care center in the health sector of Nigeria, as well as first choice for expectant mothers. This new edifice is now a 170-bed facility with 5 surgical theaters. It has a 16-bed emergency care unit with 3 organ support facilities, 30-bed special baby care unit, 5 neonatal intensive care units, a fully equipped laboratory with support services, laboratories, and a blood bank. Beyond the significance for the health sector, this institute is a major contribution to our education sector also, as it becomes a veritable platform for our medical students in the state university to enhance their exposure and experience with the top-class medical equipment we have provided here.
The governor added that the upgrading of the facility was also in fulfillment of President Buhari's determination to make universal and basic primary health care available to Nigerians.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, today is very significant to us to have you here commission these 3 landmark projects, because they would not have been possible without your direct influence and support. I'll come back to this later. These projects, just like has been enumerated, the Oshodi Transport Interchange with its capacity buses, there are 820 in all. Your Excellency, Mr. President, we are witnessing the commissioning of high-impact projects that have the utmost interest of our people at heart. In our promise to deliver people-oriented projects and programs, a closer look at all the projects indicate that nearly all the different pillars of our development plan as a state have been affected positively through these projects. The Institute of Maternal and Child Health at Lasut, that is the Ayinke House, contributes to our health and education sectors simultaneously. The Lagos Theatre Ikeja is about our social development sector, while the Oshodi Transport Interchange and the buses come under our transport, infrastructure, and commerce sectors. The Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road is an infrastructure development project. All these projects together form the trust of our vision as a government, and the end result is to make life better for all our people, irrespective of gender, tribe, or political affiliations. Mr. President, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt in my mind that the future prosperity of this state is secured. It is on record that our state has never had this measure of support from the federal government as we have enjoyed under your leadership, Mr. President. We believe strongly that the projects being commissioned today are our own modest contributions to the national development of Nigeria. As I said earlier, these projects would not have been possible without Mr. President and his quiet but impactful decision to approve and release the payments of the Paris Club refund and the refund on federal road projects incurred by the states. Mr. President, the first tranche of the Paris Club refund to states approved by Your Excellency was what we used to pay the 40% down payment for the 820 buses that you see here today. We are very grateful, Mr. President. It may also interest you to know, sir, that our second tranche of the Paris Club refund, in addition to the refund by the federal government on federal road projects executed by states, are the resources we have applied to the construction of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road and this first in Africa transport interchange. This is our report card. We have used your approval and releases judiciously because we believe strongly in you, in your leadership, and in your vision for our country. This is our modest contribution to the growth and development of our state and to the country in general. We have, in the last 4 years, invested so much in strengthening the social and physical infrastructure base of the state economy. The dividends of these efforts are becoming manifest in all sectors of the economy. With the completion of these projects and given the level of commitment of the next administration, as well as the continuous support of the federal government, I am assured that the immediate and the future prospects of our state is very bright. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, these projects are ready to go fully operational to serve the needs of Nigerians. The Murtala Mohammed Airport Road and the U-turn flyover at the Ajao Estate exit will be opened for public use immediately. The other two flyovers will be opened for use from the 10th of May after the quality assurance work has been completed. Of the 3 terminals of the Oshodi Transport Interchange, Terminal 3 will become fully operational from the 1st of May, while Terminals 1 and 2 will become operational before the end of May. Mr. President, Lagos State will continue to support your aspirations to move Nigeria to the next level. The business community in this state are desirous of partnering with your government in moving our economy forward. On behalf of the good people of Lagos State, I thank you again for honoring us with your presence, and I invite Your Excellency to commission this project which you have made possible.
Your Governor, Achumumi Ambode, has performed such spectacularly, and we should all commend him for his contributions to the growth and development of Lagos State.
And barely 24 hours after the president's visit to Lagos, the Nigerian leader was also in Borno State to commission projects with impacts on health, poverty, and educational goals of the sustainable development.
Projects commissioned by the president, who was received by Governor Kashim Shettima and other top government functionaries, include Ibrahim Ali Industrial Park, Maiduguri; Babangana Kingibe Primary School, Maiduguri; the Legacy Gardens, a 246 apartments in Maiduguri, one of the many developmental projects executed by Governor Kashim Shettima; Yemi Oshibajo Primary School; Malakachala Memorial Primary School, Maiduguri, Borno State, which has the capacity to accommodate 1,200 students, of which the first set are mostly IDPs, to ensure that no one is left behind. A secondary school named after him, Muhammadu Buhari Academy in Maiduguri, which has the capacity to accommodate 2,400 students. And finally, the Aliko Dangote Academy, Maiduguri, Borno State.
Together, leave no one behind us. Together we are stronger, and I think it stops. Clean water, sanitation, responsible consumption, climate action, quality education for all. One for all and all for one. We stand united through it all as one. We'll keep marching hand in hand. We'll leave no one behind. One for all and all for one.
Speaking after the commissioning of the project, President Buhari was especially delighted that some of the mega primary schools will serve children orphaned by Boko Haram. This, he said, will ensure that the orphaned children will get quality education and consequently brighter future. The president expressed satisfaction for the project executed and added that he was highly impressed by Governor Shettima's unique approach towards establishment of educational centers, especially at the primary level.
I am highly impressed by Governor Shettima's very unique approach towards resuscitating the educational sector, particularly at primary level. As appointed by the governor, it is essential to give priority attention to primary school level in order to lay a solid and firm foundation towards ensuring quality and formidable education at the tertiary level in line with international best practices. Your Excellencies and gentlemen, Borno State focusing on education is very imperative due to the peculiar security challenges posed by Boko Haram, whose ideology is dramatically opposed to Western education.
For Governor Shettima, it is essential to give priority attention to primary school education in order to ensure formidable education at the tertiary level in line with international practices. The state is focusing on education, which was described as very imperative due to the peculiar security challenges posed by terrorist groups whose ideology is against girl-child education. The terrorists, in their crusades of malice against girl-child education, abducted Chibok girls in Borno and Dapchi school girls in Yobe states, and unfortunately, some of the girls are still in captivity, but the president assured that his administration will not give up on them.
As president, as a Nigerian, and as a parent, I share the agony of every Nigerian whose loved ones are in the hands of abductors. Therefore, government will do the needful to successfully reunite these girls with their families.
Your Excellency, the past 10 years were very tough years for the people of Borno. And beneath the mayhem of Boko Haram, underneath the nihilism lies the real cause, which is extreme poverty, destitution, and lack of access to education. There has been an incestuous relationship between poverty, climate change, and lack of access to education. Along that line, in the past 8 years, we are vigorously pursuing a grassroots socio-economic empowerment program with agriculture as a centerpiece. Believe me, with investments in agriculture, a Borno man has no business being poor.
Nigeria will continue to support the United Nations in all its efforts, including the attainment of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I thank you.
Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
I am Guillaume Delalande from the OECD. You're watching Agenda 2030.
Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
And that's our package. Remember, you can always watch this program and other episodes by subscribing to our YouTube channels on youtube.com/FreshNewsTV and youtube.com/Agenda 2030 TV. You can also watch the program live on Facebook. Log on to www.facebook.com/FreshNewsNG and www.facebook.com/Agenda 2030 TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Agenda 2030 TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember to drop your comments and share with your contacts. Do use the hashtag Agenda 2030 and hashtag Agenda 2030 TV. Thank you for being part of the program this week. I am Toyin Nkamiang John. See you again next week. Bye.